Hello everyone, welcome to Plot Point 6. I hope you've got your writing implement, a pen, ready, and I hope you've got two pieces of paper or a piece of paper you can fold in half for your inspiration page. If you have, let's get going. So today we're going to be looking at dialogue. Now this time we're going to be looking at two characters speaking together. We're going to be looking at action and we're going to be looking at personification, which we should know by now is when we make something not alive sound alive by using a verb to make it sound like a person. So I'm going to show you the video for today, and while I'm showing you it, I want you to be thinking about what is happening, and then we'll watch it again together and I'll explain. First of all though, you need to create your inspiration page. So pause the video now and make your inspiration page ready. Okay, so yesterday the tree had transformed into a monster and had walked towards Connor's house. Let's see what's going to happen today then.
I have come to get you, Connor O'Malley.
Okay, let's watch that one more time and have a think about what's happening in this part of the story. So the monster is coming closer. Connor's watching, almost in a state of horror. He's not scared enough that he runs away.
I have come to get you, Connor O'Malley.
Begins to talk to him. So, I've written this part of the story. Let's see what happens. So, first of all, Connor's feeling even worse today. He's got this monster staring him in the face, addressing him directly. He knows his name. How would you feel about that? So it's getting worse and worse for Connor. He's heading back down to that point where he feels like he's in a nightmare. I have come to get you, Connor O'Malley, thundered the monster. I'll do what I want, said Connor casually. Stomping across the soil, the monster strangled clouds, tore at trees, and pummeled brickwork. So here I'm giving actions to show that the monster's being destructive. Then I'm going to use personification. It's a bit of a pathetic fallacy, really, to make the environment come alive. The clouds hid behind the moon. The trees trembled, and the bricks shuddered in fear. So all of those things aren't actually alive, but I'm making them sound like they are through the verbs I'm using. So we're going to start off by looking at this picture of the monster at Connor's house and Connor looking up at him. What might they say to one another? Now, if you wanted, you could magpie that bit of dialogue from the monster directly from the video where he says, I've come to get you, Connor O'Malley. Or you could change it. He might say, Connor O'Malley, come with me. He might say, Connor, you now belong to me, or you will be mine. Now remember though that Connor reacts atypically. What I mean by that is Connor doesn't react in the way we normally would, and he's trying to act like the big tough guy, like he's not bothered. So how will Connor respond? He might say, I'm not scared of you. He might say, get off my property, or get away from my house. He might say, who do you think you are? What I want you to do now in that first chunk is write down, you might even want to draw some speech bubbles, two pieces of dialogue, one that the monster says and one that Connor replies with. Do that now. Okay, let's go on to the next part of chunk 2. Before that though, here's what I've written. I've said, Connor O'Malley, you belong to me. Connor's going to reply in mine, I belong to nobody. Leave me alone. Okay, let's go on to the second box of chunk 2. Now, I want to show that the monster shouts. So I've said what synonyms could we use for said, but really, I don't just want any synonyms because I don't want him to whisper it or to sing it or him to chirp it. I want to show that he's a really powerful, intimidating creature. So he might yell or cry, he might roar, howl, bellow or bawl, he might clamour, he might yelp or wail, he might shriek it or scream it or squeal it, he might holler at Connor. Pause the video and magpie some of the verbs, the synonyms for said. Off you go. Okay, so the ones I've chosen are yelled, bellowed, thundered, roared and howled. If you want to magpie any of those, do so now. Okay, and now we've done that, we're going to go on to chunk. Okay guys, we're going to have a look at chunk 2. So, what I've done is, in your portfolio, I've also posted an additional link to another clip from the movie of the monster destroying a house. Now, the reason I've posted that is because I really want us to be thinking about action words that we can use, verbs, to show how the monster is being destructive. So, what kind of actions would the monster perform? So it might be like things like punch, destroy, smash, crush. I've got some other examples here. Punch, pummeled, yanked, which means pulling something out, ripped, stomped, strangled, throttled or strangled or demolished. So, what I want you to do is pause the video here, and I want you to go into your inspiration page and write some of these ideas down if you do that now. Okay, so I've written down some of these here: punched, pummeled, yanked, stomped, ripped, strangled. Let's see if you can add any extras. Crushed. If you remember, he squashed the train track in a previous video. He might smash down a wall, shake something. Okay, so if you've paused the video and written down some of them, let's go on to chunk 3. So, what I want us to do now is we're going to use pathetic fallacy, which is when we personify the environment to mimic a feeling. So what I've got here is some different GIFs of characters from cartoons reacting to being scared, so showing their fear. What I want to do is I want us to think about how we can show these emotions through the environment. So in the first one here, I've got a picture or a GIF of SpongeBob SquarePants hiding under cover and shivering. So I'm thinking about how can I personify the environment to mimic that. So I'm thinking about what could use a blanket in nature. Well, the moon might hide itself behind a blanket of clouds. So I could use that one. I've got Homer Simpson here screaming. What might scream? What in the environment might make a loud noise? Well, potentially the wall when it's kicked down. The wall screamed in protest. Or maybe the sky, thunder and lightning. The sky screamed in agony. I've got sweating or crying. What might cry? So again, the clouds might be rain, but I'm using it to show an emotion. Alternatively, if you remember in an earlier video, the monster grabs hold of one of the street lamps and sparks fly. So I could almost do like electric tears flying from it. I've got this animation of a little rabbit whose mouth is agape and he's quivering. What might quiver the environment? Maybe the house itself might quiver and shake. Maybe the ground is quivering, or the trees are quivering. So pause the video and write down some examples of pathetic fallacy, personification to show how the environment, how the environment mimics that feeling of fear. And I'm going to show you some of my examples. So I said the clouds hid behind the moon. I've said the trees cowered in fear. I've said the clouds cried tears of anxiety. The sky screamed in pain. The moon hid behind a blanket of clouds. Pause the video and write down some of these. Off you go.